witch! This Durin, dude, if this Durin Kit is real, man, I'm gonna start a fucking witch hunt, man. Burn them at the stake. Burn them at the stake. Alright, chat, let's talk about the Durin leakers. So, I honestly don't know how I feel about this, because, like, Durin himself counts, you always get 15, so basically what this passive is, if you have Albedo, Mona, Venti, or Klee on the team, you gain 15% more shred. But, like, I don't think it's enough. So, is this 15% shred? You get 15 by default, you can get another 15 from having those characters. Is that worth putting those characters on your team? Honestly, no. These characters suck ass, so it doesn't matter. It's a really stupid passive, and I really don't like it, but Mona Molani, but Mona sucks from Molani, man. So, like, realistically, yeah, there was another league that included more characters. Was it this one? So, Wanderer, Albedo, Venti, Mona, Varka, Klee, Kirara. Now, is that perhaps an indication that Varka sucks ass? Maybe. Maybe the Varka standard rumors had some substance behind them all along. Or maybe Varka's just unplayable without Durin. That's also possible. Okay. Is Varka permanent or limited? Limited. Team locked. What does team locked mean? Columbina, main DPS at high constellation, and related to the number of Maokai characters on the team, supports can trigger all lunar reactions on the team, provides terrifying buffs. What does that mean? Moon reactions get another level up. Level up? What do you mean by that? Like the 14%? Q works like Nahida opening a domain, no lunar vape. Does Columbina have buff or vaporize? Has normal buffs, but no lunar vaporize. Nalcry doesn't have many people, feels a bit locked. Locked by quantity. What the fuck does that mean? It feels like if you want to play Nalcry, you must pull Columbina. Don't need to pull if not playing. If you don't want to play Columbina main DPS, you don't need to be forced to pull that many Nalcry characters. Dude, what do these words even mean? Luna 4 should add team Easter eggs with Varka, Wanderer, and Kirara. Should add corresponding elemental burst damage, but boost might not be high. There's a reason why Durin is brother complex. In his final constellation, the boost for Geo is basically only Albedo can benefit. What the fuck does that even mean? That's crazy. How do you make a buff that only Albedo can benefit? Like, is it just straight up like give like 3,000 crit damage? Oh, 3,000 Geo crit damage to Hex and Circle characters? Maybe. Siren Kit? Yeah. Will Durin also have Easter eggs with Nicole and Alice later? Yes. Wasn't it said to strengthen all the Hydro DPS? Now this means only bringing Hex and Circle members can reduce pyro reaction resistance. He reduces all element resistance. He himself counts as Hex and Circle, just himself alone can reduce 15%. And you really bring Scaramouche. Amazing. Boost might not be high. Prepare mentally. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that's very funny. The Inazuma character being prepared is indeed male, heard to be katana weapon. Background indeed relates to both Kazuha and Skara. Can we dream of Kazuha having new story content? There is. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, actually wait, no, before we do that, let's talk a little bit about Durin and what he could do for the game. Yeah. What do we know about Durin so far? We know the 1530. Well, no. What have we been told about Durin so far? So 1530 shred, burst, off-field pyro. We don't know for a fact, but I think it's very, like, implied that it's either 40 cost or no energy burst. So, like, you look at teams that could use that, right? You've got pyro carries. Here's the healing mention. Off-field pyro up, res reduction. He provides healing. Specific buffs unknown. Yeah, so for like, okay, so what sort of characters would want this? Well, there's melt carries. So for melt carries, it's pretty much just Grizzly and Ganyu, right? Animo, I don't know if it's gonna work, but hopefully. I don't know if it works if he's not the one triggering the reaction. It should if Varka is included though. So would you want him on any of like the non, like the taser units? Not really, right? So Chaska could be good with Chaska. I could see it. Wanderer, Chow, I guess Varka. For Electro carries, he'd be competing with Sucrose on a Flynn's team. You would need to have an insane amount of damage to be better than Sucrose, so he's probably not competing properly there. Varessa, yeah, I can definitely see. Chlorine, maybe. Is there ever a world where you would use it on a Chlorine team? Because the thing with Chlorine is that right now her teams kind of get carried by Maoika, but she doesn't have amazing synergy with Maoika. Like, she could do 16-second rotations if her whole team could fit with that. But then the question is, one, will Durin fit with that? And two, who do you use as your last slot if you do those rotations? Sarah? Fischl, maybe? Because you wouldn't be able to use Yeon-san. You could use Auroron, I guess. But if you're using Auroron, it's kind of hard to believe that Durin would be better than Maoika. Chlorine is just comparatively pretty weak. But I guess there's still going to be a world where you do it, probably. Not with the other Electros, though. With Raiden, nah, no fucking way, bro. Raiden carry isn't real anymore. Raiden Hyperloom is just too much better. Okay, Hydro, obviously Molani, Neuvillette. Would you ever think about doing Burgeon teams with him? Maybe, yeah, because he would shred Dendro, right? He would shred Dendro and have good app. I could definitely see Burgeon Durin be doable. His burst if he doesn't have high ER requirements. In each, we're not of the Dendro ones yet. We'll get there later. Ayato, I don't really want to include Ayato because it's just Neuvillette but bad. It's not really a different archetype, a different type of team. Okay, Maoika Mono Pyro would not work, right? Like I don't see a reason to use that over something else. Well, I don't know. Maybe Durin over Eon San in Maoika Mono Pyro, but Maoika Mono Pyro is not a thing like right now, and I don't think in order for Durin to be good enough to make Maoika Mono Pyro a thing, he would basically be making other characters like way too good. Arlecchino, maybe. I don't know though. I guess we should include Maoika as well, but like, Gaming, no fucking way. Linny, definitely. Hutao, no, kind of fake. All right, for Geo, Navia, yeah, sure, we can add Klee if you want. For Navia, would Ito and Noel want him? Not really. Like if he's good, if he's like insanely good, you might use him anyways. But I feel like thematically, these things aren't really that impactful in Ito teams. Although I guess you do like Ito, Shilona, and Farina, and then your last slot, if you're doing Durin, you get to vape his burst. So if he does damage, maybe it won't be bad. But like if his damage is actually that good, then like replace Ito with a buffer and it's probably better, right? So I kind of meh. I'm not convinced. Okay, then obviously not Nefer, Lama. We already included Burgeon. Niche, obviously. Would Burgeon Alhaitham ever be a thing? I mean, honestly, yeah, I could see it. Like Alhaitham, Durin, Singto, Lama. But Alhaitham's damage won't be enough to make him better than using like Yelan in that team. So maybe not. Okay, never mind then. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Let's competition and synergy, right? So basically I want to look at like how good the current options are for these things, the ones that Durin could be replacing, and how well Durin synergizes with these. Basically the point would be like if something is low competition, high synergy, Durin would probably be an upgrade to the team even if he's not that good. But yeah, like competition for Risley teams, it's like mid, because like there's strong options in Risley teams, but it's not because they're strong, it's because Risley sucks and PTDS instructor Risley with Maoika, you know, it's like, yeah. But like when you look at like teams that are actually built around Risley's damage, the competition isn't that fierce. Like Maoika doesn't have great synergy with Risley. There isn't really like setups that allow you to melt Maoika's burst and have good uptime on your Risley stuff, so the synergy's not that great. And Risley's teams can already slot in Shilonen without getting really punished for it, so Maoika provides a bit less value because you already have someone that can use Cinder City. So it's like there is no Pyro character for Risley that has amazing synergy with them, but also Risley isn't strong enough that synergy trumps power, which is why Maoika's pretty solid, right? Anyways, the synergy here, honestly, what's Risley's skill cooldown again? 16. Synergy should be high, honestly. Like his app is likely gonna be at least better than Maoika. I don't know if I believe the better app than Changling thing, but I think if it's a character focused around Pyro app, he's definitely gonna have better app than Maoika. So you'll be able to do any Risley combo you want instead of being forced into N5 CD. A bit more flexibility, easier not to fuck things up, but also likely lower cooldown on stuff because of this is gonna be nice. Also, the fact that he's a healer also means that you can consider replacing Bennett. Now, he needs to do a lot to replace Bennett, but if you do replace Bennett, it allows you to, well, consolidate the healer slash buffer and the off-field applicator slot in one and have a bit more flexibility on your last slot. You could also replace the other slot, right? You could do Bennett, Farina, Durin. I think there's a lot of ways this could be good, so I think synergy here is high. With Ganyu, I don't think the synergy is as high. The competition, I'd say right now, competition for Ganyu teams is lower because there is no good Pyro for Ganyu teams, honestly, right? Because Maoika doesn't allow you to use your burst on Ganyu. Kind of feels like ass, unless you add a Dendroid or a second Pyro. And then Channeling has energy problems and potential cooldown extension or potential rotation extension. I think the competition's pretty low for Ganyu. Synergy though, I don't know. How good is the synergy here? I mean, it depends on how fast the Pyro app is, right? Whether it allows you to use burst or not. It should. And then it can also be your healer slot. Synergy should be high, I think. Chaska. Competition in Chaska teams right now, I'd say is mid. It's not quite high competition because it's not even like the teams that are good with Chaska are good with Chaska. They just get carried by Maoika. Synergy should be pretty high though. Like Durin should allow you to, Durin should open up a lot of different options for Chaska teams. Or like right now, there's a lot of teams where you use like Chavez or Bennett, and a lot of those teams don't have actual shred, so you end up going VV on Chaska. This allows you to go Codex more easily. I like it. I think the synergy should be pretty high. Wanderer. Competition. I think the competition is actually kind of high on Wanderer teams, and the synergy is low. So don't do it with them. I mean, if Durin is like really good, you might want to use it anyways. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced. With Chao, I think it's the same. We don't know about Varka. Varessa. Competition. Honestly, the competition's really fucking low on Varessa teams. I'm gonna be like fully honest with you guys. Mawika isn't a good last slot on Varessa teams, okay? Like straight up, if Durin just applies Pyro once per second and that's literally all he does with 15 shred, he's better than Mawika in the slot. You just build him full EM and he will out damage Mawika just from his overloads. It is not that difficult to design a character that beats Mawika in Varessa teams. He gives 40 damage percent. It's not 40, it's less than that. He won't be the trigger. He will. At 1 second, he would be. At like 0.5, he wouldn't. Synergy, I think it would just be mid though, because Varessa teams generate a good amount of particles, so they don't need a low-cost burst. Varessa teams have flexibility in rotation length, so they don't need a shorter rotation. Varessa teams already have a bunch of shred and already have healing, so yeah. Client, though, competition, mid, synergy, high. Like, the competition being a bit higher in Client isn't because the synergy is better, it's because Client's weaker. So having the nuke from Mawika and a bit of spinning on her is actually a big deal. A lot more so than in the Varessa teams. Molani, competition. Bro, honestly, none of the Pyro characters are good with Molani. I'm gonna be so for real with you guys. The competition is low. The Pyro characters just, like, from Molani teams, just really suck ass with her. Channeling plus 4 seconds of rotation time, or Guoba aware. Mawika plus 2 seconds of rotation time, and it's kind of hard to get your Cinder City on both. It's kind of cringe. And her Pyro MC, Daya and Toma cooldown problems. So like, I'd say the competition is pretty low. The synergy, this would be great, this would be great, this is what you want, this would be great. Might be peak synergy. The only thing you're missing out on is like probably the second one of these, right? Because you probably don't get a second Hexen Circle character. But honestly, who gives a fuck? And Molani is one of the characters that actually can use Albedo if you really want to. Yeah, and you can use Kirara as a shielder too. That's true. But yeah, honestly. Nevilet, competition is high, but I think synergy is peak as well. It depends on how good his app is. If his app is just good, but not insane, it'll be very good. If his app is like too good, it might be a problem though. But then that would be forward vape Nevilet, and you'd get the shred from Llama and the shred from him. So it still would be pretty good, honestly. Right? Like, you either get vapes or Burgeons from your Hydro apps. And both of those are good. It'll be much better AoE than the Hyperbloom teams. And we get better fanfare if he's a healer. And we get way higher Nevilet and Farina personal damage. I'm actually kind of curious. I should still have this PC, documents, Nodcry, Llama stuff. Let's take this team and have Durin here. We remove the electro charges. Okay, so you should get a similar amount of Hydro Apps onto Dendro, but some of those are going to be Vapes instead of Burgeons. For now, I will just assume Durin's whole kit is basically Raiden's E plus the 15 shred and a bit of healing maybe. Anyways, yeah. So when you get a Nevilet charge attack vaped, right? The motion value is, in this team, 13.45 times 1.25. 13.45 times 1.25, 16%. So if it doesn't vape, before we look at shred from Durin, if we just look at shred from Llama, it's 25, so 0.75. It'll be hitting for 27k. And if it does vape, it'll be 66k. There's a difference of about 40k, right? And our Burgeons, we already have the Llama buff here, but we don't have the shred. This times 1.15 from the crit times 1.075. But right now our Burgeons are hitting for 45k. Our Hyperblooms are hitting for 45k. Why 225? Am I an idiot? Oh, it's because it's right. That is true. So it's 50k. So basically, if instead of a Burgeon, or if instead of blooming or Hydro App vapes, we get 40k instead of 50k, but we should end up with relevant Hydro Apps more often. So I actually think that keeping this is pretty reasonable. Because like, if you lose 10 Burgeons here, it's more like 12, honestly. That's 16k DPS. And if that's those 12 Burgeons are vapes instead, right? 12 times 40k. This is a 27-second rotation. We gain 17k. So it's basically DPS neutral whether we get a Burgeon or a vape. Each Hydro up is giving us 40 to 50k-ish more damage through either a vape or a Burgeon. So I don't think we actually need to even include vapes. Because we could just have it as Burgeons, and then Burgeons lost or Vapes gained, and that's fine. Okay, and then we would go Durin, assuming he doesn't do any damage and all he does is his Pyro stuff and the Shred. We would have, 1 point, so another 15 Shred. This would be 1.15. This would be, right now we're at 55 Shred, it'll be 70, 60, 1.3, 1.025, 1.3, 1.15. We also get more Fanfare, 25 Shred from Llama and 15 from Durin, yeah, and then also 30 from Deepwood. Then EM, 187 times 3, would be 165 instead. But yeah. And this would be an upgrade over both Inefa and Raiden. Not an insanely big one, but it would be an upgrade. And this is with nothing other than just application and 15 shred. And it's like almost certain that he has an additional buff on top of that. So the question is that additional buff something that helps Neuvillette teams? Yes or no? If it's an attack buff, cook. If it's pretty much anything else, amazing. And that's also without assuming he does any relevant personal damage, which he very well could. And if his personal damage is high enough, maybe instead of playing him in a Burgeon team, you play him kind of like you would play International back in the day, but with Neuvillette Farina. So also an upgrade from Molani. It's a bit less likely to be an upgrade from Molani. Well, no. It's gonna have worse synergy with Molani, like most likely, but the competition is less fierce. So it's, I'd say, about as likely to be an upgrade. In Burgeon teams in general, though, honestly, the competition is low as fuck. Synergy should be high. They were good stuff all around. But would it be enough to make it better than Hyperbloom in single target? Probably not. In AoE? Probably. If you were forced to play Aito, what team would you use? Probably Llama, Raiden, Singzhou. What do you think of it would be if Durin gave a 200 EM buff to the team? Oh, that'd be pretty good. Because like a 200 EM buff on Neuvillette in that team, right? We had 27k, and it was equal to this times 2 times 25 divided by 9 times EM divided by 1401 plus EM plus 1. So it's 40k, and then with 200 more EM, it's 60k, so it's plus 20k on the vapes. And then on the Burgeons, it's this times 1.3 times 1.15. It's, oh, wait, wrong one. Plus 200, plus 200. 6k on the Burgeons. I guess it's more on the vapes than on the Burgeons, but oh well. In general, would TDS VV Under or VV Venti be worth the slot alongside Durin for the bonus shred? Generally no, right? Because you'll already have 55 shred from Durin plus VV. Getting another 15 at that point, or getting like a 200 EM buff from Sucrose or something like that, you're probably better off with the like EM buff from Sucrose or something like that.
Deuce on the loose!
Yeah!
Deuce on the loose!
Deuce on the loose!